No doubt you have had errors come up in the console when you've tried to run your code. There are different types of errors that can occur, and there's two types that JavaScript will catch for you. One of them is syntax errors, and the other is runtime errors. Without making this too complicated, essentially the difference is that there are two stages that JavaScript goes through when it's preparing to run your code. There's the compiling stage, in which it would catch things like syntax errors, and then there's the runtime stage, and that's when it catches errors that aren't immediately evident. They're not mistakes in the way you wrote your code. It's just something that it discovers as it's trying to execute that suddenly it realizes it can't do, and the program crashes. Either way, you will get an error message in the console. Most developers, when they are first starting out, really hate to see those error messages. They feel like it's a failure. I would like for you to think about this differently. Those error messages are here to help you. They give you specific information that can help you find what the problem is and fix it. Every developer, no matter how many years of experience they have, makes mistakes, has errors, and knows how to read the messages and find the problem to fix it. So let's look at what you might be able to do in some simple situations with code that you already know how to write. I have first a syntax error. I'm going to uncomment line 10, and we already see that our opening parentheses is in red. We have a squiggly red line underneath the semicolon there. And I see the problem, you probably do too, but let's run it to see what the message is in the console. So we have a message that says syntax error, missing the closing parentheses after the argument list. And it even shows us right here, gives us the file path and tells us it's on line 10 and says somewhere right in here is the problem. And then this part here, it gives you the specific message, and it also has the rest of the stack trace. A lot of this isn't going to mean anything to you because those are messages about files that are behind the scenes that JavaScript is running. But what does matter to you is your file. What's the name of the file? Where is the line number? And that'll help you get to the bottom of it. Okay, so all we have to do here, of course, is add our closing parentheses and everything clears up. So I can run it again and it says system initializing. All right. So that's a syntax error. It's something that usually your code editor, like VS Code here, will give you a hint that there's something already wrong because it can tell that it's going to have a problem compiling. It's not even going to get to the point where it can run. Once you fix that, it will run, but you may have additional errors. Let's go ahead and uncomment that line on 18 and run it. All right, we have a different error this time. It says line 18 right here. Tank capacity is not defined. And here you'll notice an additional reference to your file, line 18, and it even tells you what column, 25, which is that T right there. It just means that's how many characters in on that line. And it helps you narrow down exactly where the problem is. So tank capacity is not defined, and that's true. We have no variable anywhere called tank capacity, but that's not something that VS Code would catch. It's not something that's caught during compiling. It's a runtime error. It only happens when it tries to run the code and suddenly realizes, oh, you're telling me about something I don't know about. So to fix this, of course, we need to create this variable. So we'll say tank capacity is 100. And then we can go ahead and run this. And we get 150. Great. Okay, let's move on to this last one. This is a different type of runtime error known as a type error. It has to do with your data types. So if we uncomment this and we say, I want to console.log system error code.toString. So we're trying to stringify the value of system error code. Let's try it. We get an error message. It says type error, cannot read properties of null. So this toString method, which is something you learned about when we were talking about converting from one data type to another, it's trying to stringify system error code. The problem is it doesn't have a real value. It just has that placeholder null, which isn't something you can call toString on. It would have to be a number or a Boolean or an object or something like that. So that's why we're getting that error. We would actually have to define this as something real. So let's say it's error code 134 and run it again. And this time it gives us 134 as a string. So that's all there is to it. You just want to make sure that you are paying attention to these messages and go from there. I'm going to do a very quick git commit here. Okay, let's take a look. We have two different practice exercises. The first one is very similar to the demo I just did. It's going to give you some different lines to uncomment and run, and you'll have to figure out what is the error and how do I fix it. So you can do that with a few of those. This one is pretty cool because it actually uses readline sync to make an interactive program. So you have several different things that you're going to be trying to fix in order for the whole program to execute from top to bottom without errors, and you get to do it interactively in the console. So I hope you have some fun with those. It'll help you get more accustomed to reading these error messages, figuring out how to find the exact thing that's wrong and fix it. And you will feel much more confident going forward in how to deal with these errors that will inevitably come up. That's all I've got. I'll see you in the next one.